Don't make me put your chicken rotation. Everybody rotates. I got a couple hates.
Woo. What's going on, everyone? So it's your boy Suave.
Hey, an SPG.
How y'all doing today, man? And this is so we're gonna have a.
What you doing behind the scenes?
Echo. I don't know, I'm getting a little echo.
Oh, I'm not hearing it though.
Okay. So look, man, thank you all for being here, guys. And we're here to talk about what we know, what we're gonna talk about. So look, let me bring in one of our guests. We have our boy, y'all boy, Cowboy.
What's going on, guys? Because I'm a cowboy.
That's right.
Oh, man.
You're going to have to give yourself a shout out. You have too many titles. Go ahead, my friend.
Well, guys, I just want you to see behind me. I'm the all-purpose whatever. You can't see the all-purpose champ, but I'm the all-purpose champ. I'm the master of vlogging. I'm the cowboy, and that makes me the king of content. And I personally am very thankful you guys have me on here because I've been one of the people going crazy for this game, like probably a month before the game came out. And so I'm excited that you guys had me on here. And also the other show you had talking about the game. So thank you so much.
Hey, shout out to the chat, man. For the new people coming in here, I want y'all to understand whatever goes on in the man cave.
Oh, it's going to stay right here in the man cave. And speaking of that, we need to bring our guests out, man. I'm excited for this.
So up first, man, our brother, we got the narrator, writer of this game, man. We have Unai. What's going on, man?
Hey,
guys. How's it going?
Doing great, man. Doing great. And we have another guest. We have two awesome people joining us today. We have Unai, and we also have the lead designer, Tom. Bring him on in.
Hey guys.
How are you?
Good. How's it going?
It's doing great, man. Having a great time. Really enjoying your game. Like,
man,
a lot. I get nostalgic feelings playing it. I'm starting to get some of the power-ups and start to mess with those and the combinations. I've worked my way up to using my third rage ability as well.
Nice.
So I'm having a ball. How are you faring with it, Cowboy?
I'm doing pretty good too. One of the coolest things, I don't want to spoil it, but you fight a boss, and it was such an epic boss battle. So when you first see this game, it looks like your average side scroll, 2D half D, right? And then the stuff that happens is just like, man, this is cool because I think I know the game just from playing it, and then they add other elements like the waves, and I won't get too into it because people didn't play it. But that boss fight, I'll just say with the flying creature, we'll say that. Man, I was like, this is epic. This is epic. So I'm loving the game right now.
Oh, that's awesome to hear, guys. Thank you.
Man, let me tell you guys, what I love about the game, the diversity, man. It's like each character has a very unique fighting style, man. And me personally, I love Tempest. I couldn't get away from it. Now I have to say this, and if I don't say this, I know Cowboy's gonna call me out on it. So I'm a person that does not like any game come out. I do not play the female characters. I just don't. I have nothing against females. It's just I never played the female characters. But this character right here, man, dude, it's only been 2 games. This game and Marvel Avengers. Well, ever in my whole gaming life played a female character. Ever. So man, you really did good with the fighting style and everything. And I really didn't want to pick the Megadon, because I feel like a lot of people's gonna be picking Megadon. So I was like, hey, I didn't want to do that. And then the Ultraman character, I felt like a lot of people's gonna pick that. So I was like, nah, what's another character that nobody's really gonna pick? So I played with Tempest. Tempest, I perfected. I wish I could show my stats right now. Like no one is messing with me when I play with Tempest. Like no one. Like I'm getting S+ ranks all the time.
Yeah, she's real good.
Yeah, man.
Really
so
good.
I want to shout out to the chat. Thank you guys for supporting us on this. I also want to shout out Win by Design, an online clothing company, man, that I'll be purchasing stuff for. So shout out to that, man. Shout out Wingstar. And then also, man, Tiger Stripe Apparel. Thank you for my hat, shouting out. So let's get into it, man. First question. We have we would all love for this game to be multiplayer online, man. Please, anyone can either one of you please like lessen the pain, give us some kind of hope, something, give us some good news about that, please.
Or at least state why you decided not to add it in.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I'll touch on that a little bit. It is something that we wanted to do. It's something that we did actually begin like early stages doing it. But unfortunately it was just one of those things where, due to like a bunch of different features and some things taking up more time than we thought, it just kind of got nixed a little bit. They're like, I don't want to promise anything, because like if it doesn't end up happening, it doesn't end up happening. But it's something that we think would be a strong feature as well. But it's kind of like it's a little bit out of our hands, right? Like who can say, if once the game hits all the other platforms, does really well, like maybe, but it's one of those things where we don't want to like make any promises about it. I will say, yeah, Alex is in here. He's saying,
I saw.
Yeah.
So we got the CEO in the house, man. Shout out to Alex. Shout out to Alex.
But I mean, there are alternatives, like to plug some things right now. Like I know some people have been using Parsec, which is pretty good. That's what we were using. I mean, we found a couple tools because of COVID and stuff like that. Local multiplayer was kind of a hard feature to even test.
Right.
So things like Parsec are nice. When it comes out eventually on Steam, you can use like remote play together. Like both of those work pretty well.
Nice.
I don't like having to push people over to do these third-party things, but like they work, and it kind of fits that niche that you guys are looking for. But I think that's about as much as we can say right now.
Tom, you got to understand, Tom. Now we are gamers, so you best believe I'm gonna figure out a way to play with my boy SPG and Cowboy. They're all the way across the world.
I would say we would even love it. I mean, I realize the game is out and everything, but what would have been really cool was to be able to take those giant monsters and fight each other too, go against each other. But I'm absolutely loving the game. Can either one of you describe to us the formation of your company and like what you guys stand for, what you do? I know you make games and everything, but
yeah, Unai, if you want to.
Sure, I'm the story guy, so I'll tell the story, I guess.
Go for it.
Yeah,
for it.
It's we all met at school, actually. This was 2013. We were all in a game design postgrad at the George Brown College here in Toronto.
Nice.
And the way the program worked, the whole class, we worked as if we were a company kind of thing. So it was like a make-believe thing. It was claimed to be a company. That's how it started. But then we made, on a game jam, we created a game called Rambo. And it was like everyone really liked it. People were really excited about it. We won some student awards. And we kept working on it as we were going through school. And at the end of the year, we thought, hey, what if we actually become a company? What if we actually move on with Rambo and try to sell it? So 9 of us made the company together, which is a very big number for a company. And there's been a lot of chaos, and it's still problematic in paperwork, but whatever. Ever since, like, we did Rumble first, then we got our own office. We made a game called Double Cross. And then we started working on Dawn of the Monsters, and then COVID happened, so we don't have an office anymore. And now we work from home. And most of us are still in Toronto, but some they've moved. Tom is living in Sudbury, far to the north.
It's not that far.
How was that shift? Being in an office environment, having the camaraderie, and then everybody pretty much at home. What was that like?
Hold on. Before you guys answer that, I want to acknowledge Alex's comment right here, because I'm really feeling that Dawn 2 right there. You know, maybe that Dawn of the Monsters 2 could be co-op multiplayer, you know what I'm saying, online.
Hey.
So I'm with that, man. Look, it was a day went by for me. No hesitation. I didn't even hesitate. Like, as soon as I saw the thing, it was like so impulsive. I went just like that, bought it.
Because you don't have Pro, do you?
Nope, I don't have Pro. I bought all my games. So when I saw it, I said, yeah, that's the game I'm finna. And I did all the research on it. I found out the bad news that it was going to be couch co-op. I bought it day one. Didn't even hesitate.
Yeah,
Awesome.
And I was planning on buying it day one too. Like I've been talking about this game like crazy. So I just want to tell you guys, like, I'm a huge fan of Godzilla, so I use Megadon. So I basically said, which character are you gonna use? I say the one that looks the closest to Godzilla, because I'm a big Godzilla fan, and I love Kaiju, Pacific Rim, all of that stuff. So for me, I was really excited about it because before I heard you guys mention that it was inspired by beat 'em ups, I looked at it like, oh man, it's a Kaiju game. It's a big monster game. You walk in kind of slow and you smash and stuff, right? And then I heard you guys mention that it was also inspired by beat 'em ups. I was like, whoa, because that's like a double whammy, right?
Yeah.
If I could ask, this is a quick question, and probably go back to yours. Did you guys, when you were making it, so you made it local co-op, because you referenced Streets of Rage, you know, typically all Streets of Rage have like a multiplayer mode where you just, even local, like 4 players fight each other. Did that ever cross your mind? I know it's 4 characters, but did you ever think, hey, what if we have, you know, co-op multiplayer with 2 players, or even 4 players, or like a battle royale type mode or whatever?
So the game actually started out as like way back, like this is 3.5, almost 4 years ago, as like a versus thing, where you would beat each other up, grab buildings, smash each other, all that fun stuff. And then as we were developing it and prototyping, it kind of morphed into where it went with this direction, just because we think, you know, those games, like, again, that would almost necessitate online, which is a big, as Alex is mentioning, it's a big to do for like a smaller indie company like us. Mm-hmm. And, you know, it's something that it has a demographic, and then so would a single player kind of like campaign. And we opted for like single co-op, like mission structure, that kind of thing, because we think it would just be more widely appealing. Mm-hmm. What else? And then we also, like, just so you guys know that like these things were considered, we did at one point have 4-player co-op going at once, but just due to some technical issues that was causing, especially on like the performance end of things, we kind of had to like pull back on that, because the chaos almost got like too much. Like there was just too many things destroying and whatnot, because one thing that like we really wanted to nail is like that feeling of destruction. So like all the particle effects, the buildings, all that fun stuff. And when you had 4 people doing that all simultaneously, it was like the Switch and like some of the other consoles that, well, actually mostly just the Switch. The Switch is typically the bottleneck for things, especially if you're trying to develop for a bunch. It just started like seizing up. It was like, can't do this. So we pulled back on that. Also, when you do these, like when you take something and you go, you know, 2 players, one size scope of feature, and then if you expand it out to 4, it's like the amount of testing, the amount of like all that like non-fun stuff that you have to do to get things working, that also goes like increases. So we had to make the call at some point.
That's awesome.
So-
Well, let me ask Alex this. Alex, how much is it going to cost, man? I'll just, let me know, man. Listen, I need multiplayer and make it 4 players. You let me know if I can write a check. Just let the cowboy know, and I'll get right on it.
Cowboy got you. He got you.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, hold on. Matter of fact, each one of you guys check your account now. He already deposited the money.
That's fast. That's fast.
Look under your seat. Look under your seat.
Look as you see.
Oh shit!
Unai, I got you. Okay.
Man, so look, I definitely wanted to get back to Stayers Pro question because I wanted to hear that as well. So can we get that time for y'all guys?
Yeah, I'll run it back again. The question you were mentioning COVID, and I was just interested in going from a company where you'd go into work and then having to work from home. How is that challenging for the company?
Unai?
Yeah,
Do you want to
Unai.
answer that, or?
I mean, one of the biggest challenges was like communication, of course. Like before, we were all like in a small office. There's anything we want to talk to each other, we just get up and like scream.
Right? Yell down the hall.
There's a lot of screaming in our office. Yes, and so instead of that, like having to learn to communicate just digitally, talking like without seeing the other people's faces, that's always difficult, especially like in a teamwork environment with so many different disciplines where you have like the artists, the designers, the writer, the coders, the music. It's even more different. The communication is so important. Sorry.
Yeah, and luckily, like Discord and some of these other tools, like they kind of upped their game during COVID, and that's kind of what we've been leveraging. But it was tricky. I think we've adapted probably quicker than other studios because again, like the games industry, you can't really like. I don't want to be rude or anything, but like we don't have any dinosaurs on the team, like older guys or older people that aren't up to date with like technology. You know what I mean? So like a lot of us use Discord already, so just kind of like shifting was actually fairly quick when like when it first started and everything was crazy and everything shut down. We're like, okay, well, I guess we just have to. And then we've been doing it. How long has it been? Like almost 2 years.
About 2 years.
I say, well,
I have one more question for Tom, and I'll let the other guys ask some stuff. Since you were the designer or lead designer, were you the lead designer or just head designer?
Just designer on this one.
Okay.
Yeah.
What was your inspiration for Dawn of the Monsters, and where did you get your inspiration from? Because what I'm interested in is the term Nephilim. Nephilim means a bunch of different things, and it can be biblical. It can be. I mean, I'm just wondering where you got your idea from. I find that cool.
Well, for Nephilim, you're going to talk to him, but
that's
in terms of like inspirations and things like that, obviously, like Alex, who's in chat, he's a huge kaiju nut. He's got like 18 copies of the Godzilla 1998 VHS, and he hates that movie. But like that's just trying to like his room's covered. I was his roommate for a little bit. He has like I don't know how big it is, probably like 24-inch giant Godzilla thing in his room. Anyway, so he's a big fan of that. There was, we were working on a prototype and it kind of made sense. And then once we started getting going on it, and I think this was to the Cowboys' point, something that we wanted to make sure the game had was. We looked at beat 'em ups, we looked at other kaiju games, but one other angle that we kind of looked at for inspiration were the character action games. So things like Bayonetta, things like Devil May Cry, even the God of War game, because looking at a bunch of beat 'em ups, the combat wasn't necessarily up to par with what the other games could really do. So like you play Bayonetta and it's like a very tactile, like there's dodging, there's like it's a nutso game. And then you go and you play like even the newest Streets of Rage, it's like pretty straightforward and there's not a whole lot of like, I don't know, like I played it, I had fun with it, but it felt like a step down in terms of expressive combat and that kind of thing.
Yep.
So that was one. Those are the other inspirations. We wanted to make sure that like you had defensive options and you had to react to things and like enemies did their big telegraphs and like that kind of stuff so that you could play both sides of it a little more expressively. Well,
it was genius to add the buffs in the game. And then to get the better buffs, you have to get the S ranking, and I thought that was amazing.
Yeah. So if we want to get into that, you guys just let me know, because that's my little baby.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
I was about to,
that's
I
going
was
to take a
about
lot of time.
No, it's cool because I was about to ask a question on that. I was going to actually like speak up for this game because like even though I know I'm so familiar with business and I know how people throw things out there in social media and they look at something, they try to rip something so great apart, and when I say I love this game, man, I love this game like it was me trying to get this together because
Like you made it? Oh,
yeah,
come
like
on,
seriously, I'm so serious, man.
Yeah.
This is like my number one game on Stadia.
Oh wow.
Like, and I have like I promise you, my hours are gonna go tremendously high on this game. And so what I wanted to bring up is in this game, I noticed that you did not have a setting to make it even more difficult to like a higher difficulty than anything. And my assumption was because of the whole mechanic of you have to keep that combo up in order to get that S rank. And then you also have the carrot, right, on the stick where if you get the S plus rank, then you unlock things, like cosmetics or health boosts or things of that nature, So I get it. And I love that concept. Would you like to express why, there was like no difficulty change and instead the combo thing? Like, what made you even come up with that, man? That was amazing. Because it goes down fast. If no Kaiju is coming, it goes down fast. But that's when I use my Tempest Gatling gun. Get them hits.
How to answer that one? Yeah, I think the goal, I mean, looking at some other games that tried to pull off not having difficulty settings, kind of like letting the player have a little more kind of like agency over that, is kind of the route we chose at the beginning. And then I think it was later on in the project, we were kind of like flirting with the idea of like difficulty settings and whatnot. But because of this, like, as you were alluding to, like, because there's a score system, because there's augments tied to how well you do, it was like you could play on a harder difficulty, but you'd actually kind of like be like those two things are almost opposing each other, right? Like you play it on a hard difficulty, but then all of a sudden you get worse loot, even though you're a good player. It's like, why would you, and we had originally had kind of an answer for that again, unfortunately didn't make it out. But I think, yeah, as you're pointing to, is mostly the fact that augment system and a difficulty system would kind of oppose each other. So we were hoping that, if people really like the game, wanted to dig into it, going for those S pluses would almost be that kind of like, there's your difficulty. Like if you want to say that you've beaten the game, if you're somebody that would normally beat it on, expert or the insane hard modes, it's like, well, just get the S pluses. And then like, we're hoping, I'm personally hoping, even though I love the augment system, I want to see people like try to beat this game without using them, because the later stuff gets nutty. If you try, like I've tried, like I'd say I'm fairly competent at the game at this point, working on it for 3 years. It gets pretty hard to do that. And I'd like, obviously there's no way to like make people do it or try to, but I'm just like subtly putting it out there, like try to do that, like see if you can.
You should have made it an achievement.
An achievement, yeah. See, but that's the funny thing, right? Because like we have those ideas too, but the like there is a whole community around achievements, like nutso, and they get real mad if you put kind of hard achievements out there that like award, especially on like the Xbox, because it's tied to like a point system.
Right.
People, the community that you want to love you for putting achievements in suddenly turns on you when they're like, I have to do what?
It's like in gaming, they want it hard, but not too hard. They want it easy, but not too easy, and I
probably
totally
a hard
get
tightrope to walk,
Right.
And then you also take into consideration that you have a proof of concept. It looks solid. You start working on it. That isn't what you're going to end up with at the other end of the spectrum. Like it's going to be vastly different. And I think that's what Tom and Unai was referring to about, things that got pulled out, shifted around, and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Well, I'm up to the challenge, Tom, on taking him on that. So because I'm telling you, man, like Tempest, who I was hoping one of you guys came up with 10. I wanted to thank y'all personally. Like, who is that person? I want that person to do an interview on the man cave. Like, reach out to that
Responsible
person.
for Tempest, you mean?
Yes, man.
Oh,
yes.
That's Sean.
I
So
would
the
love
way-
Sean to come on here, man. Like, seriously.
Yeah, we had 3 designers on the team, myself, Justin, and Sean, and we all kind of handled slightly different things. So Sean was in charge of player characters for the most part, and then I think mostly bosses after that, and then Justin and I were on level design and wave design, and then I did enemy design and the augment system. So we each, like, I say that isn't like that's kind of like what we were responsible for, but we all kind of work together to do things. So like we play test, give notes, all that fun stuff.
I'm gonna tell you right now. The one
Tempest
boss,
is my favorite.
Yeah,
Oh, wow.
yeah, man.
Yeah.
Like you can, her combos are just off the chain. Like she's a mid-range, long range, and close range character.
Mhm.
So I love it. But you know what? One boss that gets on my nerves, man, that I just cannot. I'm like, I'm gonna destroy this thing, man. It's the last boss on chapter 2.
Don't tell me now. That's a spoiler.
Man,
That's
that
a
is
spoiler.
that is a spoiler. I'm not
I've
going
seen-
no further. I'm not.
I've
going
watched
any further.
playtesters beat their head on that. Yep, that's a fun one.
Because I would get A, I would get like close to getting the S, and we would kill each other. Like I love the fact that we killed each other, and then I don't get any credit. But that boss right there, I really hate that boss, man. I'm really I'm grinding.
Tom, did you ever unleash an augment into the game that broke it and you had to remove it? It just didn't. Okay.
Oh yeah, like a dozen.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was really, really sad every time that we had to say goodbye to an augment.
Yeah, I mean they're still in the engine. Like I don't get rid of them. I just move them to the.
Oh, they're still
not
floating
being
around a
used
little
folder.
Let me ask you guys this: who ideal or one of the things that sets this game apart? Let me say this: when I was really interested in the game, I seen a trailer, and again, giant kaiju's. It looked like Pacific Rim. I was salivating, right? Then I heard you guys mention on the interview that it was inspired by beat 'em ups. I was like, whoa. But one thing this game has that I never seen in the beat 'em up, which is it stands out for me, and it makes me feel like it is a big kaiju creature game, is the kill moves. I thought that was really like when I'm using the Godzilla Megadon character and I'm ripping the guts out or rip the head off and I could pick the head up.
Man.
I'm like, I want to pause it sometimes and be like, I just want to scream like it makes you feel that feeling that I wanted out of a game. So it separates itself from the average beat 'em up because you feel like this raw beast. So who was in charge of that, or what was it? What I guess made you guys say, you know what? Let's add that to this game.
Hold on, before y'all answer, shout out to Sean again. I just want to let him know that I renamed Tempest Finisher, man. It's now called it's a proton cannon now. You know, so that's what I'm hitting it with the Finisher, man. But go ahead, answer the question.
Unai, do you? I guess.
I mean, I don't know who came up with that specific thing, but I remember that at one point when we were still at the office, and there was this big whiteboard where we were just throwing ideas at it. Like one of the pillars we had for the game was like big kaiju, like turn it up to 11. So from the very beginning, we were thinking of ideas. How can we make you feel like a kaiju? How can we make you feel destructive and big?
Well, speaking on how you make us feel stuff, I have a question. How did you make a new game feel nostalgic? Like, that's a good question. Because, like, when I'm playing it, I get Streets of Rage vibes. I get, even back on the NES and Super NES, the Godzilla games where you could run around and fight. And maybe you can't answer that. But to me, your brand new game feels nostalgic. And I find that amazing. I think you guys did a great job.
I think part of that is because like we do reference, like when we're looking at stuff, like I mentioned a bunch of like newer games that we reference, but like Alex is a bit of a crab person and plays things that are like 30 years old, and we went through and played a bunch of those things as well. And like that feeling, kind of like you want to make sure that you're doing, like if you're gonna take something and kind of like make it your own, you need to first see what it was first. To like, you need to like know the rules and know what you're making before you can like start to change things. Otherwise, you're kind of just taking shots in the dark. So that was kind of like the approach. Is we went and we would look at these videos, look at this old gameplay, play it ourselves, and like get a feel for what it is, what it's supposed to be, what makes these games like that. And I don't like, it was never like a direct thing. Like we never pointed and be like, we want that in this. It just like by doing that, it kind of like informed how we would approach coming at this game, because we had never made a beat 'em up before either, right? Like we had made our last two games were platformers, so we had a whole new plane, like a Z depth is crazy, and having to like inform yourself on how to approach the game's design was kind of informed by that stuff, I would imagine. Like it isn't like an intentional thing; it just kind of happens.
Yeah.
Oh, I want to say this. So, before we go into anything else, I think all of us on this panel, well, I don't know you two guys, just met you two guys, so I still love you. But me, Cowboy, and Stadia Pro, and most of the people in the chat are huge Stadia fans. Like we're back in Stadia 100%. You know, so I definitely want to address what Jeff asked right here. He said, "How was it working with the Stadia team?"
So, I mean, we worked with this game with a publisher like WayForward. I'm sure maybe you guys are familiar, like Shantae, Mummy Demastered, a bunch of, well, actually, they just have a huge catalog of games. And so they were actually responsible for working with Stadia and getting it working on their end. And because we're using Unity, which is a pretty flexible game engine, there wasn't like a whole lot of back and forth between us and them about anything Stadia specific. It just kind of like works.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, so it was really nice because it allows us to put it on basically everything. And Stadia, I think, like I think they approached WayForward about getting it on their platform. If I'm not mistaken, I could be wrong there. Don't hold me accountable for that one. But you know, that's kind of how that came to be. And now we're still working like with WayForward and stuff to make sure that because the Stadia is coming earlier than the other ones, there's stuff that we've still done, and we want to make sure that the game gets caught up with all the other things that we've been doing since then. But
so are you saying that there are going to be some updates that we're going to be looking forward to?
I would say it's a pretty safe bet. There's probably going to be a few. I mean, most things these days get them, right? So and we've done it in the past with Double Cross and stuff.
Yeah, they're mostly like like some patches. It's fixing a few things, and like making little improvements here and there.
Yeah. So let me ask you guys this. I don't know if you could answer, if Alex want to answer, but if this game does well, right? It opens up the other platforms. You're seeing it progressively work well. Or would you guys like? Are there some stuff that didn't make it that maybe instead of waiting for a part 2, maybe you'll have DLC? You think that did you guys ever throw around in the boardroom like, man, what if this game does like really good? Should we add DLC or should we just wait for a part 2?
Like an extra character, you know,
right.
like, you know, like,
or a game, a horde. Imagine a horde mode.
Starting to feel like a pitch meeting. I'm liking this.
Yeah, like,
right now, just you know,
definitely,
you imagine a horde mode just waves and waves, and that would be so cool in this game.
These are all free ideas. They're free.
I've played the game for almost 3 hours now, and I haven't scratched the surface on learning how to get those S rankings, because I can get an S ranking on like the boss of, you know, or there's certain rounds where I get a very low ranking. I got to figure out what I'm doing wrong, and I'm going to invest to figure it out, because it is a lot of fun.
Well, man, if you need any tips, brother SPG,
I might need some, man.
Come my way.
Email me, I'll let you know.
Yeah, it sounds like I'm going to be in trouble by the end of chapter 2. So,
man, I'm telling you, but it's still a great game. Like, it's still a great game, man. I'm so happy that it even came to Stadia, because we know that a lot of people are like consoles and companies. They're against Stadia, and a lot of times it's like false accusations, and you know,
Here's a question for
That's
you real
no
quick.
need for it.
What was the decision to bring it to Stadia first? Was it just ready and flip of a switch, or why have it on Stadia first and then transfer over to all the other platforms?
Mostly just due to the logistics of it. So we've been like, I don't know how much you guys know about kind of the process between finished game and launch game, but you have to go through lot check, which is a platform specific kind of like QA to make sure that you're not, uploading malware into the Wii U or like the Nintendo store, like that kind of thing, right? So each platform puts the game through a series of ringers, make sure you have certain features, blah 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 blah. So the thing with Stadia is that they also launch, like Stadia Pro launches the first of every month, right?
Mhm.
So it just happened that the game was already on Stadia and lined up with that, and the other ones were still in limbo with lot check, and they needed to be pushed out a little
Oh,
bit.
wow.
Oh,
That's
gotcha.
basically it. Yeah.
Dude,
Well, that's fantastic for us.
I know,
You guys
right?
got a sneak peek.
I have a few gamer questions for you guys. I did a little research, and I wanted to get your point of view on it. So on the lights, Tom, I see that you like competitive lawn games. Can you explain those? Like what kind of games?
Competitive lawn games?
Yeah, that's what it had on the website.
Like spike ball or
Okay.
cornhole where you throw the set lot.
Okay.
Yeah, my one half of my family is, I would call them like extremely competitive people, and we had before COVID, so except for the last 2 years, we have a weekend thing where we go to my uncle's cottage and we just play yard games and do competitive cards. Like we draw up brackets, like tournament brackets on a big whiteboard and bring it out to the beach, and like we'll play. Like it gets pretty nuts. So that's that's where that comes from. And then the games that I play myself, like I typically play multiplayer competitive kind of things. Like I'm a big fan of what am I playing right now? Oh God, I'm gonna paint myself in a certain light right now, but like I play like League, I'll play Halo, I'm playing Destiny 2, playing a lot of Lost Ark right now, like those kind of games.
So what about those dislikes that you mentioned on the website?
Oh, what are they? Unai, what did I tell you?
So it said.
It's funny, we updated this like 2 weeks ago, so I should know that.
Right. You should know your dislike. So it's like players that ruin action economy.
So, in addition to that stuff, we also Unai knows this firsthand. Unai knows this. I've been playing a D&D campaign with some of the people in the office and a couple
No
other.
way.
Yeah,
You guys
go
and play D&D in the office. Now I need to.
And some people that work at a studio in Toronto called Secret Location. And so I DM.
I'm gonna
I've
need
been
a nap.
DMing for 5 years now. I want to say it's been a while. And that's mostly just a joke because Unai and some other players decided that they all wanted pets. And I'm not saying one, I'm saying multiple, several, to the point where I have a 6-person campaign and there are 14 things on the board that all need to be controlled.
That's
what that point is. It's a very hot topic at the time.
That's hilarious.
So
hilarious.
What about you, Unai? You have your lights is tabletop RPGs. What are some of those games?
Yeah, I mean, I also DM in D&D.
Nice, me too.
Guys, I in 2014 we started running a game with other people in the company. At one point, I was running 4 campaigns at the same time. It got a bit chaotic. I started reducing them.
That's dedication.
But I have all my D&D books. Here I have several different editions. I also play the Star Wars RPG,
nice,
the Fantasy Flight Games system, and I actually finished a 5-year campaign last year with this really epic finale. It was great.
I love that stuff, man.
Let me
nerd out.
Let me ask Unai a question.
Hold on, let me get those dislikes. Let me get those dislikes.
Go ahead.
So Unai, can you tell me those dislikes, man? You have to explain it because I was confused. I was like, I can't wait till I get these guys on here because I need some explanation, man.
I'm looking it up right now.
Yeah, so I think my dislikes, according to the website, is logical fallacies.
Right? Right?
He knows. He knows. Okay, so I'm the writer in Son of the Monsters, but my background is as a programmer. So like I have a very like logic-minded brain, and I also like I really like debating. I'm arguing in the internet all day. So a lot of times we're in like arguing, and like we're in the office or whatever, and I just jump and say, "Oh no, that's a fallacy. You cannot say that." What you said is fallacious. That's a straw man. That's a whatever. So yeah, I'm a bit known for doing that.
Look, awesome. You know what? You and I will probably get along because I am when someone likes something too much, it drives me away from it. You know what I'm saying? Like the whole Ultraman thing, like the character that Prime. You know what I'm saying? I knew, like Megadon. I just knew it. I was like, man, they're gonna be. I'm not gonna play those characters because everybody else like them. I'm gonna find something in this game because it was out of Tempest or what's the turtle one name?
Ganira.
It was out of those two, and I played them both. Man, I go ham with Ganira also. You know, he has some great like.
Who's this guy's name?
Ganira is also female.
Oh, really? I didn't know that. So
he's a little kid.
Ganira, let me tell you, Ganira, for everyone out there, Ganira has some strong protective power. So all your admins, and I'm a builder. I love making builds. So I'm gonna tell you now, you can put all your admins on damage with Ganira, right? Because she got the powers to defend you and everybody else and leave so much room for damage. I'm telling you. So
well, that's the only build I've done so far is a damage build. I haven't done the regen yet, and I haven't done, you know, I mean, I'm unlocking stuff as I go, you know.
Yeah. Let me ask,
go for it, Cowboy. Go for it.
What's your favorite character in this game and why?
Oh yeah, we was getting into that. Go ahead, answer that, man. We want to know.
I mean, out of the 4 player playable characters, I'm a Tempest player. It's for different reasons than you guys. I'm not very good at beat 'em ups. So just having a character that I can like stay at range and shoot at things from afar and stun them, that's how I play.
Ah, okay.
Dude, I like to get up in their face and hit that Gatling gun on them. Like right there in their face. Like right there, just close as I can be.
And I use the Gatling gun all the time.
And I'm kind of a weird player in the games. Like in Destiny, you mentioned that, Tom. I was big into Destiny for 5.5 years straight, from part 1 straight into part 2. And oh wow. And I never ever, you ready for this, Tom? Ever made another character besides a Titan. I never made a hunter, never made a warlock, ever.
Wow.
Well, and same thing with this game. I knew I wanted to pick Megadon because it reminded me of Godzilla, and I didn't play. I played one of the other characters just in the practice mode, but I know like I'm just using that character, and maybe after I beat the game. And my wife and I, we love beat 'em up, so she haven't played it yet, but I'm pretty sure she'll probably pick. Maybe pick Tempest or somebody. But
Megadon got some good palettes, man. Some good skins. Got some good skins,
I picked the skin that made him look like Godzilla, kind of.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah,
I saw that.
Here's a fun little something. Not all of them, but at least half of the skins, maybe more. And or maybe less. I'm not some can say. But
it's about half.
About half of them, we just let each person in the office like design 1 or 2, just like you pick the reference. You pick like if you want it to be a reference to something or just like some colors you like or whatever. So everyone had a say. Everyone could pick something.
Man, look, I haven't unlocked it yet, but I feel like it's out there. If there's a black and red template palette for Tempest, baby, that's what I'm picking. That's what I'm rocking with. So I'm gonna keep on getting those S ranks until I get it. Or something black, because black is my favorite color. I know it's a black palette out there for her. I know it is. So that's what I'm aiming for. That's what keeps me going to it. Tom, what is your favorite character on there?
It's a tricky one.
I know I like them all, but Tempest is
Yeah.
like beast. You know what I'm
So
saying?
it's less that like there's this is I'm not going to answer this directly. There's less that like a certain character. It's more of like there are certain builds that I have that I use with different characters. So it's more like for instance, I don't want to spoil too much, but I'll try to keep it because you guys are only in like World 2.
Nah, it's not. I mean, I'm pretty sure some guys, because Squids and Ninja Guy X, they almost
they're
beat
farther?
the game. So they're farther than me. But
Yeah,
I like
Oh.
to, I like to get the best and full experience out of the game. So I'm playing all the characters. So that's why they're ahead of me. I'm sure.
I will too.
I'm sure
Yeah.
that's why. I'm sure that's why they're ahead of me.
But for someone like, for instance, there's a build with Megadon where you can stack a few things that revolve around Heavy Hold 1, which is this big like wind up.
Yep.
That's a really fun build.
Yeah.
You can get some really crazy numbers with that. And then Tempest is kind of like, I think Tempest is probably my favorite if I had to pick one. Mostly because if you build it, like I don't want to spoil too much, but she's really strong with rage generation things, if you know what you're doing. So there's a few augments that really lean into that. And there's a couple that like, you know, if you get the right combination, it's just kind of the game becomes silly. like it just becomes.
Well, I love all the
you can do
particle effects, and I like picking stuff up and throwing it at the monsters.
Oh, dude.
I'm starting to dig that quite a bit.
Well, that's actually that really quick. That's something that like I've been counting now. This is a little personal thing of mine where like, because I do a lot of the play testing where we'll grab, you know, friends, people in the industry, like random people that have, you know, 3 hours they can spare in their day and sit them down and I watch them play and I just take notes. I don't talk to them at all. I just sit there and watch. And 100% of the people so far that I've watched, the first thing they do is they grab a building, pick it up, and they just throw it at something. And then they all go, like they all just, every single person has done that. They grab a building, throw it, and laugh. And I'm like,
that was almost my identical response when I did that.
It's weird. Like everybody does it. And I'm
so
like,
destructive.
I had to start paying attention to it. And now I'm like keeping every time like I watched your guys' playthrough, I've watched like I think it was Ninja and oh God, I forget the other person. There are two of them there, and I was watching it and they did the same thing. Right. And I was like, what?
Eli. Eli or Dre, one of those two.
Yeah.
So that's been a little fun thing.
Yeah, let me just ask this one last thing. Well, first I want to give you credit for the augment system. So I'm typically more the simple gamer, right? I want to play something like I played my favorite game is Marvel Avengers, and then Suave started playing it, and he's all into builds. I'm like, dude, I've been playing this game for over a year now. I don't do any builds. I like to just run and punch things in the face, right? I like the simple. So then when I see the augment system, I was like, oh, here we go. It's gonna be one of these games with all this crazy.
But Cowboy, it's an easy simple though.
No,
he's getting there.
I was like, wow, good credit because it's very simple to pick up, and I think what you're alluding to is the game doesn't need easy, normal, or hard because you could get through the end of the game, right, and have higher tier augments, and then if you wanted to go back and do certain stages, now you got a higher tier, so you could probably beat that, and now it could be easier. But what I want to ask you is, have you guys, because you mentioned Destiny, have you guys created a live service game? And if not, do you guys is that a thing you would like to do, is create a live service game?
Like down the road? Like in the future?
Yeah. It doesn't have to be done a month, just in general. Like, because you're a big fan of Destiny. You mentioned a bunch of things. So, you know, live service for me is, if you remember on Nintendo, you would beat your favorite game and it ended. It was over, right? Yeah. So then we got DLC. DLC was the next iteration of letting your favorite game not end just yet. But now live service is like, man, my favorite game could just go on for as long as they support it. So has that been anything you guys talked about, or would you be opposed to make it like, hey, one day let's make a live service game?
I mean, I don't think anyone, and correct me if I'm wrong, I don't think anyone's like super opposed to the idea. It's more of like a game needs to hit a certain, like in order for a live service game to kind of function, it needs to have like a large audience. Because I mean, I think the majority of those, I mean, it's kind of like maybe actually I don't know if it'd be too favorable because like it's kind of like hitting on those. I don't want to say like dirty, but like what mobile games do, right? Where they're relying on a very small percentage of the player base to fund
Right,
the
pay
rest of
large,
it, right?
yeah.
Like that's why like
Yeah.
something like Destiny, it has, it has the seasonal content, it has the expansion, but it also has the shop where people can just
Right.
put a bunch of money into it and things like that. And I think for a studio our size, it would be tricky to not only like convince people that we're capable of doing something like that at this point, but also like that's a big long-term kind of investment. Like we've been
big
working on
endeavor.
Dawn for 3.5, almost
3
4 years, and it's
years.
like now that it's
Well,
out, we're all
bouncing off-
taking a big sigh of relief. But like I don't know, like
Bouncing off Cowboys question, I have one last one as well. What are you both most excited for in the future, either within the game, your gaming business right now, your company, or just personally? What are you most excited for the future?
you first.
That's a big question. No, you can go first.
I can go first. I mean, the immediate thing is kind of like, I guess the second launching of Dawn, right? Like when it comes out on all the platforms, in a week, a little bit over a week. Like that's the next thing. Like I think out of all the games we've made so far, this is the one where I'm like hopefully this is like kind of the best received one that we've made so far. Like, and the reactions on Stadia and like obviously like from what you guys have been saying, like it's been received pretty well. So I'm like kind of hopeful, but we'll see. The game industry is a harsh mistress.
It is. Yes, it is.
Yeah,
And then after that, I think, depending on how this goes and what kind of doors it opens for us, like bigger projects, whether that is like something related to what we just did or if it's something new, like I don't know, just something. Anything really.
That's what I want to say, man. I do want to.
How about you,
Unai,
real quick?
Oh, go ahead.
Tell us what you're most excited for the future.
I mean, I wish that Dawn is successful enough, and again, like Tom said, that it opens enough doors. Like an ideal scenario would be that we would be able to like grow a little bit and be enough to work on like 2 projects. That would be great. Like if we could in parallel work in like Dawn 2 or Dawn DLC or whatever, and something different, I think that would be super cool. Even if it's something small, but and also I'm really looking forward to like being able to see more people again so that I could resume my D&D campaigns.
Yeah, no doubt. I concur.
I want to say this, man. I hope you guys feel the same way, man. But I'm gonna speak for a lot of people in the Stadia community. Like we support gamers, and then this company being a small company, and you best believe Stadia is backing me. So compared to a lot of other platforms, I can almost guarantee you that Stadia is going to back you. So I just hope that you guys never forget about Stadia when there's a game that can, really, because we need games. We need games. And I was so excited, man. Like this was like a door opener that we even got the games as a exclusive for Stadia. Yeah. We got it ahead of everyone. It was like we was trying it out. Yeah, we got our YouTube videos are out there first. Our gameplays and stuff are out there first. So I thank you for that, man. And I really hope y'all see the love from Stadia, man.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'm extremely excited for you guys and the response I believe you guys are gonna receive when it hits all the other platforms, because I have very much enjoyed the 3 or so hours I've put into it, and I'm gonna dive back into it. It's just a lot of fun, for various reasons. But yeah, man, I can't wait for part 2. Maybe some of these big ideas will surface in that one. So it's amazing.
You could just add content, and I'm okay with that.
Yeah,
there it goes.
Well, I think Stadia being a smaller platform, and it is a great game. I don't know anybody who doesn't like this game that played it. I was only bummed out because I was talking. So I like to talk trash, if you can't tell. So when I seen it, I was just assumed, that's my fault for assuming that it was going to have online multiplayer. So I'm like, I'm going to be the best person in the Stadia community. I'm going to whoop everybody. And then Suave said, hey, man, I looked it up. It doesn't. I was like, what?
I had to crush his dreams, man. I was
like a little bummed, right? And then when I played it and I did my first impressions, I was like, dude, it's solid. But I heard you talk about Streets of Rage, right? So I kept looking at it, thinking like originally I saw the trailer and I said I want this game to make me feel like I'm a big kaiju and I'm slow and I'm smashing, right? And then I heard Streets of Rage and my mind was like, oh, a beat 'em up. And then when I first played it, I was like, but I was so torn, right? And then I didn't get the online. And then I played it and I talked to Suave. Suave was like, bro, the game is so amazing. You don't understand. I'm driving to work. Like, I'm playing it when I get home today. And I played it again. And I'm like, dude, this is what I wanted. This was what I originally saw and I wanted. The kaiju game. You know, I feel powerful, right? So what I'm saying that to say this. I'm pretty sure on a larger scale, you got PlayStation, you got Xbox. People are gonna play this and be like, dude, you play that Donut Monster game? It's great. So I'm pretty sure it's gonna do well. It's a great game. I have no faults with it. I think I told Suave, I said, wow, they got medium strike, like they got a weak, a hard, they got the kill move, you got a super, different supers, you got the like it has everything you need for a kaiju 2D / beat 'em up. I just don't see who plays it unless you're like, I gotta have multiplayer. And I'm a multiplayer guy, Suave is too. But we like it so much, we're trying to do the Parsec thing. We're like, dude, he did a stream. And we talked on the phone as we played it at the same time. He said,
I told him. I said, bro, we're gonna make this work. We're gonna make this work, man.
Yeah. So it's a great game, and I'm almost guaranteed on a larger scale with the other platforms, it's gonna do pretty well. I'm pretty sure. So
look, we're rooting for you, and we're getting ready to wrap it up. There are some things I want to ask backstage. You know what I'm saying? And I hope y'all open to answer those questions. But there's the support is definitely here from stage. I promise you, man. You're gonna see the numbers. One, the game being a pro game, and it would have been great if it was supported by online multiplayer. That would have been great. But I totally understand the restraints of things that may happen. I totally understand. It did not take away from Suave putting in them hours. I just looked at my hours. Man. I got almost a full day of gameplay on this game. Like, seriously.
Now I have to hit you up for tips, man. Yeah, I got 20 hours in.
Yeah, I got like 21 hours. I got 21 hours right now.
Wow, that's actually nuts.
So, you don't believe me? I'm not just.
I believe you.
I totally believe you put that in because I'm 3 hours in and I'm not past the first chapter. I'm towards the end of it, I think. But I haven't destroyed no nest or anything, so I gotta buckle down and get back into that. But I wanted to thank both of you guys for coming on, man. This has been an amazing conversation, and I really, really do think that you guys are going to have a great. There it is, 20 hours. But I think you guys are going to have a great relaunch or secondary launch, if you want to say that.
Yeah, man. I really appreciate it, guys. I'm gonna tell you guys out there right now, like anyone out there that's like YouTubers or anything, you know, these guys right here, they was nothing but nice to me. I couldn't believe it. I hit up Alex, and I think you and I, Tom, was talking for a minute, and he was like, "Hey, hit this guy up." So I hit up Alex. Alex hit me back. And then he was like, "Hey, I'm gonna get some guys on there." I understood if he couldn't make it or whoever. I was like, "Bro, I'm just excited that you're even talking to me right now."
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like,
he was excited.
You have no idea like how excited I am. So when he said, "Yeah, I'm gonna send someone," man, he saw two. I was like, "Man, Alex kind of love me right now." You know what I'm saying? Like I get two people. I get two of you. So like I just want to say, man, these guys, this company, there's some good people in this company. They did not ignore me not one time. They really acknowledged me, and they took time out of their schedule to make this happen, man. So I say support them. If you want to reach out to them, reach out to them. They're great people, man. I love this game. Love it. So you best believe on my YouTube channel, there's gonna be a playlist of a lot of the monsters, man.
I don't do this very often. Cowboy, you get the last word. What is it?
Oh man, it's crazy. Well, I want to say Alex sent me two. So because of Alex said, Cowboy, just go on the show as well. So now you got 3 of us here. But listen, I just want to say that I'm a fan of the genre of kaiju. So that's my main thing. I'm a big fan of that and beat 'em ups, but I like this game more than just looking at this beat 'em up. I like it for the kaiju aspect of it, the creatures, the lore. Even as we didn't touch the story. The story is so good.
The story
like,
is
the characters,
Thank you so much.
the characters.
No spoilers.
You guys did a great job by having that chat feature. Like it even has like I felt like I needed to right the wrongs. I don't know if you guys see it or not, but I was so looking forward to this game. I felt a little bummed because it didn't have the online, right?
Right.
And then I played it more and I said, dude, this game is amazing. So I had to personally do a stream, did a half an hour stream where I said, listen, the game is epic. Trust me, you got to play it. And I showed everything. And I even talked about the chat section. That's cool. So you got the regular story, but then you just go to chat to see the story evolve and more characters speak. So I just want to give credit to that as well. People may just look and say, okay, aesthetically it's pleasing, right? The graphics is nice. It's kind of cell shaded, right?
Yeah, somebody said
the controls is great.
Somebody said in the chat it was like playing through a movie, or an animated movie.
That's exactly what it is. It's a story. It's actually like a storyline. You have to pay attention to those things and like, man, okay, this is what's going on. And it gets different. Like, as soon as I think something else gonna happen, something totally different happens.
Nice.
So it kept me wondering like what's gonna happen next. I'm thinking, man, is it a conspiracy? There's something going on, so I'm still finding out.
Earlier today, Ninja Guy X, he streams early in the morning. So when I'm getting ready for work, I get up and I turn on his streams, and he was streaming it, and I was like, "Oh, I don't think I want to see this. I don't want to see this." I had to turn off his stream because I seen something. I was like, "Wait, oh no." So that's how rich the story is, because you don't feel like whatever. No, you feel like, oh, I don't want this ruined for me. So just great job for you guys with the story as well. I think this game is well rounded. But Unai, great job for you with the story. It rounds out the game. And if a person needs online multiplayer, cool. But if you could get by that, you're gonna like it. It's flawless to me. It's great.
I want to so what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna take you guys off, and me and SPG is gonna close this out. Can y'all hang out in the backstage, and we'll get with y'all in a minute?
Sure.
Man, thank you guys for coming on. Cowboy, thank you for coming on, man. Thank
you for having us.
All you guys.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah.
So let's we're gonna close this out. Hold on. Man, SPG, what you think, bro?
Hey, man, that was a fantastic discussion, man. And I didn't get my Nephilim answer, but maybe I will backstage. I'm gonna have to ask that.
What? Hey, so is this man cave worthy, man?
Oh yeah,
man, most definitely, dude.
Oh, most definitely.
Dude. We gotta invite these guys back. So, guys, I want y'all to know out there that's watching. I put it in the description. SPG's channel as well. So you can also catch episodes of the Man Cave show on this. This is our season finale, guys. So this was the last episode of season 1. Be on the lookout for season 2 coming real soon. We're getting a different intro, different look. We got some good things for you, man. You're gonna have fun on the Man Cave. So we're gonna keep that #1 rule though, because y'all need to respect that rule. So until next time, man. Peace.
Peace.
Don't make me put your chicken rotation. Everybody rotates. I got a couple, hey.